Hello guys, Susanna here. I'm back for the next part of my Sparrow on a spool tutorial. I'll bring it up a little closer to show you what I've done. This is where you need your picture here. I've just stitched like a back stitch around here, and I did this in the darker colour just so I could stand out. This I've done with a pencil. Just draw with the pencil bits and pieces of where you're going to stitch. So the tail and the wing I've done in a darker colour. You can do whatever you like. So just did back stitching on here, and the his little claws, I've just used a texture here, and I've just drawn the lines because we are going to be using this. So I started on this because I thought I had to test it out, and then I would show you. And I also drew the line for here for the I just got the pen out and roughly drew the line for that. So I've still got a bit more stuff to do, and I just did satin stitch. If you look at some of my robin and the owl, and just the way I just did a satin stitch and then a French knot for the eye, and then a couple of French knots around the eye. So still need to do bits and pieces for the feather, and then we've got to work on this yet. So this is just a tutorial for this part. So needles everywhere. So but what I've done with this, and the reason I'm glad I've done it to show you, because it's quite tough to get it through when you've got wool. And usually when you do satin stitch, you know, you're using the wool on the back, and I didn't want to waste the wool because we need a fair bit of it. So what I'm going to do is you start off here, and then okay, so we need, so I get, there's the one there, you put it in here like that, so it's about there, so you're leaving a little gap, and then you come up like that. There you go. And then sometimes it's easy to pull through, and other times I've got to get the pliers because it can be quite tough. And you get this little guy, see, like that. Get the pliers, because it's wool and it's got to go through lace and all that kind of stuff, but I still want to use the wool. So there is ways and means of going about getting, oh, move that over because I'm catching all the threads. Okay, and don't pull it too tight because we don't want it to be too tight on there. Now if you don't want to use a thicker wool, you can use something a bit smaller. So once again we go to where we want to go, leaving a bit of a gap. Hopefully this side will be, sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's not, I don't know why. Oh, it's ridiculous that I need pliers to pull something through, but there we go. See, it wants to pull, but then pull it back. You don't want it to pull too tight. Okay, and then we keep going. I'll do a couple, and then I'll so we start where we want it to go and then go over. See, and this is a way, I mean, it would be difficult to pull it through whether you went all the way around or not. one way of doing stitching, isn't it? Okay, so I will keep going with this until I get down to here, and then I'll show you what you need to do to fill it in. Hope you can see what I'm trying to achieve there. There we go. So I'll pause it. Okay, well, we're down to the bottom, and see it's can be quite gappy. I might have to go back and couch it, or even just put glue underneath it. We'll see how we go. So we're at to that point, and what we need to do is, rather than going up, we go through here, and we in the middle. I'm still having to pull it through with the pliers. It is very annoying, but this is how we have to do this. It's because it's going through that lace that it is becoming a little difficult. Okay, now what we do, lay it down flat. I might go over there with a bit of couching, and then we're going to be filling in the middle parts. Can you sort of see where I'm going with this? So there's the part. And if you want to, you can leave it gappy like that, but I want it to look like it's a full reel. So what we do, there's that part with the gap in the middle. You put that down there, and then you come in between. So you're doing the same as what you were before, except you're just filling the in-between bits. Oh my goodness, if you used a thinner piece of, you know, if you did this with DMC or some of the other stuff, you wouldn't have the problem I'm having with this. Oh, good grief. Now, but I really want to use this pretty. There we go. There we go. Now you can see it's starting to fill in. Definitely have to come back there with some couching to hold that down, which I think will look nice as well. I'll do it with maybe a light, maybe this colour, just to hold some of the bits and pieces down. So now I'm in here. You can probably hear the rain outside. I've got the window open. So use the edge of the spool as a guide. So, there we go. Definitely have to go back with the couching. Okay, I think we've got the drift on that one. I'll pause it again and come back, because you don't want to be seeing me struggle with a pair of pliers, which is delightful. See, it's getting fuller, and it feels like it's going to be too full, but yeah, and we'll be coming back in between, and I like it. It's sort of got a really good full. That's the difference between where it's like that then versus it'll be a fuller spool. So I'll be back when that's done. Okay, we're back again. What I did is I put a little bit of glue underneath just to hold it down, but that's how it's all filled in. I really quite like how it looks. So what I've done, so you got to draw, this is why you do need to do the beak. I actually, with the beak here, I got a little bit of grey lead and coloured that in on the top there, because it's sort of a bit browner there and then it comes out yellow there. Okay, so what we need to do is get some of that thread from here, and you start here, and then this is going to be couching. This is I did this technique on my scissors case. Anybody that's had the scissors case, so I put a knot in the bottom there, and then I get a thread that matches. Sort of want it to not see it too much, and then come out right next to it. Okay, this is why you need a line. So we are going to, that thread will be there like that. Then we come in and we slip underneath here like this, and then use that line as a guide, so you know where to hold that down. I did this technique a little bit, but on a smaller, like a thinner scale, doing my fox's whiskers. Try and get it as close as you can. A bit difficult trying to do this standing up. There we go. So this is why you need a guide. Here's the thing. When you do this, I love couching. It's a really great way of building texture on your pieces. Oop. Can get knotted though. Here we go. Hopefully you can see that's a very dark day today. I've got all the lights on, but it's very dark because it's a little bit rainy. And then what we do, when you get to here, you would go, you know, with this, you would go down and pull that down. And once again, I'll have to get my pliers. Actually, through the process of doing the stitching, I broke one of my needles. Pulled it right off. I'm like, oh well, this is well, I got a pack. So that'll go through there like that. But you still need a little bit, so don't have it too tight. And continue to stitch. Move anything out of the way. Okay. Do that fairly quickly. This is a way you get curves in your pieces, because you don't want everything too straight. Hopefully, I really do want to this year get a new camera where I can zoom in, because I'm doing stitching, a lot more stitching. And this setup was okay when I was doing a lot more journaling, but you guys need to sort of see what I'm doing up closer, and I want a zoom in feature, so rather than me having to stand up all the time. Okay, so when we get to there, just sort of maybe give it a couple of stitches to hold that down. And then come out where, so go underneath. So you're coming out there, and do the same with this piece. So we come out underneath. Actually, we need to come out on the see that piece here, like here, like it needs to go on that line that we've done. So I have to probably really pull that through because it's going to be a little bit tricky, I think. I've got a few layers. I really hope my needle doesn't break. Yay, didn't. There we go. And we want to make it look like it's coming out of the beak. Okay, so we've got ourselves a loose thread again. Threads everywhere. And then what you would do with this is you put it into here, probably find the hole, and then that will be at the back, and you can guide along. Where you want it. Where are we? Here we go. Yep. It's all the ways and means of getting things to do what you want it to do. Then we start couching again. I thought it was probably a good idea to do this before we did any stitches on here, so you know where that is going to go, if you know what I mean. Okay, and it's a fairly quick process, as you can see. So after I've finished doing this, there you go. So you can barely see the little stitches, but they look rather cute. And it looks like it's actually coming out. And that'll go along there, onto there. And then I'm definitely going to go back and do a little bit of, like, catch a couple of the threads along there, because it's puckering up a little bit. But that's why I've glued it to hold it down. But that I'll do on my own time. So then I'll finish that, and then I'll show you how we do this, and then the next video will be doing some embroidery and all that kind of stuff with these. So hang 10, I'll finish off this off camera, and then I'll be back. Okay, back again. We've finished doing that. So it's been stitched all the way down to here, and then I've started couching just a few bits and pieces along here just to hold that down. So got that there, and then I've put in some of this thread. Where are we? It's sort of like a yellowy orangey thread for the feet. So what I said last time, oh no, at the start of this video, all I did is got this, and I drew just some lines of where you would go, and I filled this in with that. So I'll probably end up doing a black thread, or I could probably even leave it, because this is permanent ink. You do need to press it in because it's on felt. So I've got this book here, which I saw on Instagram by this lady, Mandy Patullo, or P-A-T-T-U-L-L-O, Patullo. It's absolutely gorgeous book, but I just love the bird that's on the front cover. And then she sort of had a bit of where she, you know, you just do couching where the legs and everything start. So you don't have to do it, you know. I think they look really good. So that's what I'm going to be doing with this. So once again, because I like the thickness of how they're quite thick. So now what we need to do is I'm probably going to put it down here. There we go, and so that's the first foot. Get the old pliers out again. I just really hope it doesn't wreck it, because it's quite thick what it's got to come through. Ugh, come on. There we go. So pull that. And then I've got this variegated thread, which I want to stitch down loosely where it's going to go. I'm going to make it sit there like that. So same sort of thing as here. And the great thing about couching is that you force it on. I only want to do like have lots of stitching there, like 2 threads, because I don't want it to be thick. So that last foot I'm probably going to have coming out from here, because we need another little bit that goes around there too. So but I still want it to have a little bit of bulk. But not so much. So I may come back with, so when you get to here, just, I'd probably give it a couple of stitches just to make sure that's being held down. And then go back through and come back out. Okay, so rather than going, because this part is here, so we will end up going underneath here and coming up here. Okay, and I want this part to go all the way to the top, so I'll put that there. There we go, so that's behind. And that will go next to it like that. Can you see what I'm trying to attempt to do here? Okay. You really do need some sort of wall, because it gives it that thickness and the look of you know, the actual foot. So okay, so I'll show you how to do it on the one, and then I'll go off camera and finish the other one. So when we come down here, we could probably stitch a couple of times just to make sure that's being held down, and then come back here, because that's where I'm going to come out with this one. Okay, So we're, rather than making it thicker, because I only want the width of the two, we are coming out here. Oh, managed to get that out. Woohoo! And that'll go down here like that. That's through the felt, so that might be a little bit tricky to get out. Ugh, never easy. There we go. Okay. So we're going to stitch that down. We've got 25 minutes, not too bad. Okay. So we're coming out from there. Just holding that down. Oh, trying not to prick it up. And when I get here, I'll probably do a couple, because it's the end. Oh, no blood on work. See, look at that. Ugh. Okay. Come out like that, and then go down and come up here, because we need it for a little bit up there. I think that stopped bleeding, so it looks so good. Now what we need is to get this one to come back through here, because as you know, little birds have the 3 feet, but they have that back claw as well, which is being tucked in behind here, which is holding it to the spool now, and that's going to get tucked behind. We don't want that on the spool. Oop, wrong one that I've put through. Ugh. Best just unthreading it and starting again. There we go. Pull it out. Now then using that, we go behind, because that's not through the felt. It should be okay, and that gives us his little thing, and then so we do a couple of stitches with that, hold that down, and we do the same thing on that. And because that's curved and it's a little bit fatter, I'll do 2, do the same thing on that, but it's curved, but because we're doing couching, it's okay. And then we'll come back with I can either leave those little bits or get some of this black and just do, you know, like a little V there for its claws. But it's pretty much how that's going to get done. And then go back with a pencil. I think this is a bit blunt, that's probably a bit better. And then go here, this is what your homework will be, and just do a couple of lines like that, like in with the fox. I chose this fabric because it's got some of that little bits of pieces in it anyway. And then stitch along here. I may have to show you that. Okay, window open, so it's actually a little, like you can hear stuff outside. Sorry. Okay, bits and pieces, which will give the little bird a little bit of It doesn't need a lot definition. There we go. Maybe a couple down here. It's always good to have a bit of a grouping, either two and then the one odd one around there. So okay, I will catch you in the next video where I'll actually show you what we're going to do there, and then we're going to be doing stitching there and there. Oh, he's looking so cute. Okay guys, there you go. Oh, too close. So you can see what I mean, if you can see that there, and the stitching here. Okay, well, you got plenty of homework to do. This does, like I said, it's not going to be a short one, but it's going to be quite nice. I also want to do some more stitching along the head there. I may put in the kit a coloured photocopy of the stitching on the Sparrow, just to help you like I did with the fox. So you got a bit of an idea of what you need to do, but you can use this as a guideline too. So okay guys, thanks for watching, and I hope you're enjoying creating this gorgeous little sparrow on a spool. Okay, bye.